Is this working? Good evening, everybody. Is the mic working? Okay. Thank you for having me here. And firstly, when I got the email from you a few weeks back, Josh, really took me by surprise because this is all about tech and connectivity and things. And I'm such a sort of analog, old-fashioned kind of guy. And I think, being connected for me is like going out for a beer with a dozen lads and, just having a great time and putting your phone away and not sort of taking selfies and making sure you look great all the time. We all look crap, but that's fine. And, I couldn't help, just say, stepping away from my comfort zone. And I'd probably be the first person to admit that being connected, I think it's like mic interference here. We're too connected here with two mics. When considering connectedness, I think the first thing that came to mind is the smartphone. And I'll probably be the first person to admit that I'm like most people are an addict. I think what I wanted to do first was to ask my team to go find out. I don't know how many of you know how many hours you spend on the phone, or do you kind of pick it up all the time, making sure that, oh my God, is that line or WhatsApp coming in 5 minutes ago? Has it been 10 minutes? Do people expect me to answer emails all the time, round the clock? I mean, I'm getting emails from my staff like 5 a.m. in the morning. What are you guys doing? I don't need to be like that connected. Are you going to bed with a phone next to your bedside? How many of you sleep with a phone next to your bed with a ringer on? Yeah, thank you. Well, here is a really staggering fact. Thailand population close to 70 million. More than half of us live in the cities. Internet users, my gosh, 4 out of 5. Exactly the same. Mobile phone users, 4 out of 5, 80% are using. And the average daily time spent using internet via any device is 9 hours and 38 minutes. I'm not one of those. I'm probably more sort of 9 hours and 36 minutes. But still really crazy, right? And what do we use the phone for now? Well, because we are even more and more connected every day with all these apps. If you are hungry, going home, what do? You pick up your phone and order food. We've got this thing called Line Man. I'm sure everybody in Thailand uses Line Man. And it's a bit like Honest Bee and stuff, just food to get app to your office. I'm guilty, probably, not breakfast, but lunch I order in, dinner at home I order in. You play games, listen to music when you're going for a jog or the gym. It's kind of always on. And then suddenly when I start looking at my life, it's not really just a phone anymore. It's this device that I can see why so many people wanted it implanted into their skin, because it saves you having that 33rd organ hanging about. Groceries, ordering food, and a lot of people use it to upload their lives, to appear to be connected to their friends through social media and stuff. So it's inevitable that Sansiri came up with a home service application. Now, this is an app. We have probably about 60,000 people as our sort of purchasers, residents, stuff like on tap, who are able to log on or download this app. And what it does is, in our condominium buildings, we've got smart washing machines, laundries, and stuff like that. And you don't want to be sitting and hanging around all day. So with this home service app, it tells you when laundry is ready, you can come down. If you go on Tinder and you've got a visitor coming down, previously you had to go down and sort of like escort a person in, but now you can actually send in a QR code and your visitor can just very quietly sneak up the back lift. And that really, not the use kids for Sansiri Home Service app, but it does work like that. Everything else, breakages, we've got mechanics and engineers to repair your homes if it needs sort of retouching. If you're renting out your house and things, Home Service app does all that thing. And what else we've got? We've got Sansiri AI Box. Now, this is like Alexa. I don't know if any of you use Alexa here, but it's it's this box that you speak to. And it does the same, pretty much the same thing. You can sort of order lights on, lights off. It tells you, what the weather's going to be instead of just drawing back the curtains and looking out. This is something I think is going to be taking some time to catch on. I mean, I question the sort of waking up and speaking to a box. I wouldn't do that myself, but I think it's a sort of one of these things that technology takes a little bit of time of getting used to. I mean, before you probably didn't think you'd pick up the phone to get a date or, a pizza, but now with the app, everything you're doing, all that. So why not eventually? I think you're going to be using this box pretty soon. And Sansiri was the first one to develop that in a Thai version, as we are very Thai-orientated. Most of our customers, people who live in Sansiri properties, are Thai-speaking. So that's why we've engaged Alexa in Thai, the Sansiri AI box. How do we stay ahead of the game in this world of fast-moving, fast-paced technology? Well, we've actually have an entire floor in our headquarters which is dedicated to a new arm that's called Siri Ventures. And Siri Ventures just has a great time going around picking up new fun projects. We invest in Plug and Play, that's in Silicon Valley, and SOSA, that's out in Israel. Now, these two places are kind of hot houses for startups, and they help us make investment decisions. We've invested in a company called Farm Shelf that brings you fresh salad and green goodness in your apartment with carefully controlled UV light, temperature. It feeds your plants when you go on vacation. You can check on app when you're out in Mexico City or wherever how your baby green spinach is doing. And one of the results that we've got from these Plug and Play and SOSA is that we've developed a very friendly delivery bot. He's called Sandy. And you'll find Sandy in all of our new properties and quite a few of existing ones already. He's already operating in the Monuments and Ampao and a few of the base condominiums. What Sandy does is he's delivery guys. If you get packages and stuff, he's very clever. He can speak to your elevator, telling me, like, take me up to 31st floor. And when we get to your door, he can speak to your little electronic key device and deliver your parcel, and or you can just take that. And it's been so successful. I hear that Marriott is interested in taking this, so room service will now no longer be done by Alfred, the butler, but Sandy is going to be moving around hotel rooms, taking all sorts of deliveries. Back to more human side. What has technology done to us? Well, through all things connected, we're no longer desk-bound. We think we can work from home. Actually, I question that, but everybody says, yeah, if you got internet, you got phones, you don't need to go into the office. Apparently, that's true for a lot of people. So we got a great picture of lovely couple working at home, and I think people are always going to be people, and we crave connectivity through that human touch. We're social beings at heart, and whilst machines can bring pizzas and packages, at the end of the day, I think you get lonely working at home. And this is why that's given birth to that phenomenon of co-working. Incidentally, another arm that we've invested in is JustCo, which is a huge co-working company out of Singapore. And I think this gets down to one main thing. It's just we are really lonely working at home alone, and even though we don't have big offices to go to, people like to go and hang out together. And it gives them a sort of sense of place, a sense of belonging. And even though you don't speak to the person next door, you may do, I think it's still, it's one of these things that shows you how human connection is really, really important. So in all our new condominiums, we've strived to give co-working spaces. I think, as Sean's mentioned, co-kitchen. Some of our projects have got big sort of TED Talk spaces where people can come and sort of gather, do sales pitches, and even photo studios and things. Just a lot of excuses for people to just get and mingle together. As urbanization, as we saw, became bigger and bigger, and you see around us the skyline, guilty, probably half by Sansiri, of putting up these huge skyscrapers. And even though they're huge buildings, actually the square footage is getting smaller and smaller. I was shocked to hear in Hong Kong it's down to 200 square feet now. For us, we are, the smallest one is about 26 square meters, 270 square feet, and that's already really shocking to me. But as Sean rightly said, your home doesn't really end, or it actually starts outside the 4 square walls of your 270 square feet. The facilities just become more and more important. So getting less of a square footage doesn't mean you get less of a life. It means we've extended facilities, outdoor spaces, huge swimming pools, and not only within each property, but I think what we've done is revolutionize co-sharing to another level, which with our new XT product, this is 3 locations so far, and several more to come over the next few years. XT is a range of condominiums where you can co-share facilities. So if you're living in Ekamai and you happen to be the other part of town, you wanted to go to the gym, or you wanted to use the kitchen, or use the office, co-sharing facilities, out of these 3 properties, you can do those. You can book conference rooms from one to the other through a shared app. And as I said, they have all the sort of co-kitchen, Peloton bikes where you can bike with your buddy out in New York or in London in real time. There's also surfing where I think there's a sort of, what are these, powered surfboard where you're connected to another guy out in Maui or somewhere. Not only within the condominiums, but in Sansiri, we believe that creating properties is all about great neighborhood and great community. Connectivity is always considered, and as an example, T77, which is one of our hubs, has probably about 6 or 7 of our condominiums there. What we've taken there is a really prime example of urban planning, not only condominiums, but there is community mall there, Habitat, where thanks to Monocle and Wing Creative, who've branded the whole thing and given it great programming. We've got community cafes, co-working, co-sharing spaces, green spaces, beautiful paths that you can run and walk safely. Because at the end of the day, we just feel that connectivity is not just about being technically connected, but it's all about completing your living experience. We want a perfect balance between technology, innovations, and along with careful and considered applications, just to make life better. That's it. Thank you.